If you're like me and you're trying to figure out, okay, where are the coins and where is the money inside of my business, you are in for a treat because we are jumping into day 9 of the Business Profit series, where we're going to be covering chapter 8 in the Profit First book on how to find where is the money in my business. If you're ready, let's go. The Debt Demolisher TV with Sophia Melone. Hi everyone, it's Sophia Melone, the Debt Demolisher, here to bring you the tools, tips, and tricks to help you manage your financial baggage the right way. Welcome back to another day on the Debt Demolisher TV, and we are jumping into day 9 of this Business Profit series. Now, yesterday I mentioned that we were on chapter 8, but actually yesterday we were on chapter 7, and today we are on chapter 8. So chapter 8 is covering how we can figure out ways to find the money in our business. So this chapter was filled with golden nuggets. It talked a lot about efficiency, which was interesting because yesterday I actually brought that up. If you missed day 8 of the series, I'm going to go ahead and link it right here so that way you can check it out. But I did mention and talk about efficiencies and how I was trying to be efficient in my business, and I was paying for additional expenses in order to quote unquote create efficiencies. But after reading this chapter, this gave me a new definition of efficiency and what I need to begin to look for in terms of processes, in terms of scaling back, so that way I can be able to get more with less. How can we get more with less based on what we already operate through, based on what we already have access to, and what we offer to our consumers and customers? So speaking of this, there was a question that was actually on page 134 of the book that basically says, how can we do what we do for a third of the cost? How can we deliver and still provide to our customers and our consumers for a third of the cost? So that's really going to require you to be a little bit more innovative in terms of what you're thinking, what you're doing, how you're leveraging what you actually already utilize in your business, and how you can be able to maximize the result with maybe a different approach in terms of how you execute. So there was a lot of golden nuggets that was packed inside of this chapter. He referenced a lot of different books, some of the previous books that he has already written, which I was not privy to. So this was a book that I did not know about. I think it was called like the Pumpkin Patch or something like that. Maybe not the Pumpkin Patch. The Pumpkin Plan, that's what it is, the Pumpkin Plan. So that's another book. I don't have this book, so I have not read it. I cannot vouch it, but he did reference it and speak to how what he's talking about in terms of efficiency is really jam-packed in the Pumpkin Plan book. So it's really about strategizing and being strategic around how you operate in your business. So back to the concept of doing 2 times the result for half the effort. He really talks a lot about how to break down efficiency and how to calculate it in terms of cost. I think one of the biggest ways for us to really realize how effective we are and how efficient we are in anything that we do is to begin to add a cost or a price or a tag to every single aspect of what we do. So he gave the example of looking at how you service maybe one client or how you service maybe multiple clients, and looking at the level of time, labor, what it takes to actually create, craft, do whatever it is that you do and how often you deliver it, and then comparing that to the actual revenue that you get for that particular task that you do. So on page 138, he specifically says the following: effort is financial cost and time cost. So when we think about time cost, that is time for your people, that is time for you, that is time that your software utilizes, that is time that your machine utilizes if you're actually generating and producing or utilizing equipment to produce an actual thing or create something that you will ultimately design as your output or as your product that you actually sell to your consumer. So when we begin to think about our level of effort and we begin to put a price tag on our level of effort, I think it's going to cause us to think twice about some things. And I'm even thinking in terms of what I do, because I'm a service-based business. So a lot of the services that I provide is based on facilitation. So I do get contracts with companies to facilitate at different workshops, to host private events, to put on different trainings, which I absolutely love. And then on the flip side, I have B2C, which is business to consumer products and services, which are things on my website. So I have books, or ebooks rather. I have ebooks, I have online courses, I have coaching availability, I have email inquiries that people will have actually pay per inquiry if it's more complex. I have a lot of different things that I do on my website at sophiamelone.com. And when I think of the level of effort that it takes to do one-on-one, I'm telling you right here and right now that I do a whole lot more to not only prepare for a one-on-one, but to recap for a one-on-one, to customize things for a one-on-one, as opposed to what I do for private companies or what I do for corporate companies in delivering trainings. I can just design a curriculum. I can come up with the objective, I can come up with the slides, and I can present, and I'll present for maybe about an hour and a half, sometimes 30 minutes, and I'm done. And I'm getting 3 or 4 times the amount that I'm getting paid for doing one-on-one coaching. So when I think about this aspect, it's allowing me to think, how am I weighing? Like, have I really paid attention to the level of effort and the lead time and the cost of that lead time that is requiring me to actually deliver the service on each product type that I'm offering? So one of the exercises that Mike recommends in the book is that you literally look at everything that you offer, list it all out, and then really do an assessment to say, is this worth it? Is it worth me producing, or is it worth me providing this service? Because we want to look at, is this service causing us to have a profit, meaning the amount of revenue that we get for that particular service is less than the cost that it takes to actually deliver the service or create the product. You want to think about all of that. So we want to think about efficiency across the board. So how can we not only cut time in what we do, but how can we also cut costs in how we deliver what we do? So I feel like this chapter was really huge in essentially finding the money. I think for me, like I did say before, there are different ways that I can deliver what I do. I can honestly say that I absolutely love having the personal one-on-one touch, to be able to have that private time with someone, to be able to have that private time with a client, to really hear them out, to be able to listen to them, to be able to give them feedback, to be able to give them some insight, to be able to give them something that can allow them that space to unlock. There is something special that happens in a one-on-one capacity. But one of the things that I realize is that it does take a lot longer. It takes a lot more time to customize things for one-on-one because there's a lot more personalization involved. But that, I will honestly say that that is my thing. I'm very interpersonal. I really like to connect with people, and I really do it in an authentic and genuine way. And I really feel like that is my unique spot, which is why I do get a lot of one-on-one coaching and a lot of one-on-one bookings, because people connect with me in that way and they just want to be able to sit and talk to me one-on-one. Now, other options that I have group coaching that I do. There is a program that I do offer, but I only do it once a year just because of the intensity behind it. It's almost literally like a leadership academy. It's like insane, the amount of insight that I give, the number of calls that we have, the number of tools that are given, and just to be able to have that space to be in a room with everyone that's on the same page, that's trying to get where they want to be financially, and everyone can be able to learn from each other. So that is one aspect, but that takes a lot of time too, because there's a lot of preparation involved. Sometimes the calls can go long because it can be a group of people on the call, and it can literally drain you at the end, but I absolutely love it. But looking at the cost of the program, or looking at the amount that people pay to get into the program, I haven't really captured or really calculated the time, the level of effort. So this is something that I'm really going to begin to put into play so that I can calculate everything that I do to expend or everything that I have to expend in terms of energy, in terms of time, in terms of money, in terms of financial resources, in order to deliver whatever it is that I'm delivering to the client who signs up, who purchases, who buys. Now, I will say this, sometimes going down this route will allow you to really see, or it will cause you to see, I've been spending a lot of time with this particular client, but I'm not really seeing the return on investment. I'm not really seeing the ROI. And so what he's basically explaining in the book is you have your clients or your prospects whereby you actually get a lot of revenues from, and you do it in less time. So in my example, it would be what I do for B2B companies, my trainings and facilitations. And what's happening is the income that I'm earning from that is offsetting the lack of funding or the under revenue that I'm getting, because what's going to end up happening is the profits that you're earning from those clients who are actually giving you profit related revenue, you're going to end up using it to offset the clients that are causing you to maybe expend more energy or release more resources, and it's not really conducive to the price that they're paying. So this was really interesting to me to really think about, okay, maybe I need to restructure some things in my business in terms of my service offerings. So this chapter will allow you to really deep dive and think about what you're offering, why you're offering, and what is the cost benefit relationship between what you're offering on both ends, because we want to be able to have a win-win situation for everyone involved, the person who you're servicing, as well as yourself as the business owner. And it's not coming from a selfish state. It's not coming from a greedy state. It's really being rational. It's thinking about you being rational. It's thinking about you positioning your business for success. And not only that, accepting the value that you're bringing to the client and understanding that somebody has to pay for it some way, somehow, some shape or form, whether if it's going to be directly through them or if it's going to be through a nonprofit organization that's going to hire you to be able to deliver the service so that they can receive it at no cost. So we got to think about being strategic and think about how we can point people in different resources or in different avenues to be able to get what they want, but at the same time, not completely expending all of your energy to the point where you are putting yourself in the deeper hole because there is no balance, because there is a lack of it being a win-win situation for all parties involved. So he talks about a lot more in this book. And again, we are on chapter 8, so make sure that you read it. He talks a lot about different theories and how it can apply to your business and the 80-20 rule and things of that nature. So it's really, really good. As I was reading, one of the questions that I wrote down for myself, for me to answer, is what are my profitable products and services? So in order for you to be able to really identify whether or not if your service offerings are generating a profit or if it's generating a loss, you got to look at what you're offering and really evaluating each one so that way you can identify what is your profitable services. And then based on that, that's going to help you niche down and narrow down to lowering the number of services or lowering the number of products that you offer and that you deliver. So this reminds me of a few chapters back when we talked about being spread thin, trying to service everybody, having all of these offerings, all of these services. And when you do that, a lot of the times, nobody will buy anything. So if you can get real niche, real specific on what your one specialty is, hone in on that, price for that, offer that, market to that, pitch yourself for that, and then go full throttle so that way you can deep dive into finding more money in your business. So as I'm speaking to you, I'm speaking to me, like I always say. So this is going to be some work that I'm going to be doing. And I can honestly say that pitching and marketing, they aren't really my strong suits. I have a tendency to give, just because I want to be able to make an impact and I want to be able to service other people. But here's what I realized, that I can't continue to give and I can't continue to pour out to my detriment and to the hindrance of my finances. So if I want to be in this space of business, if I want to be in this space of being impactful at the same time, I'm pretty sure that I'm deserving to be compensated and be compensated accordingly for what I do. So I have to be comfortable with putting myself out there, letting these other corporations, letting these businesses know that I am here to serve and I am here to bring the juice. And when I step into the room, when I step into their virtual arena, when I step into their atmosphere, whoever's listening is going to get a transformation. I know this because of the testimonials that I received. I know this because of the text messages that I've received. I know this because of the email communications that I get by saying, because you said this, because you mentioned this, because you wrote this ebook, because you did this, now I can, now I have. That, you guys, is the golden gem that I absolutely love. I absolutely love to be able to see that what I've been able to produce, what I've been able to pour out, what I've been able to release has actually done something for the betterment of someone else's life. As I said before, it's not just about me and the growth of my business. It's more so about you and the growth of whoever I am servicing, because that is what matters most. The results matters most. So again, going back to the concept of how can you get 2 times the result for half the effort, I got to figure out how to streamline some things. I got to figure out how I can repurpose some things. I'm coming on this platform every single day, recording and teaching and pouring out. And so one of the things that I know that I can do to streamline this, how can I repurpose this content? How can I repurpose what I'm creating? How can I leverage this as a marketing tool to let companies know that I'm here to teach, I'm here to serve, and I'm going to show up and I'm going to show out, and whoever's listening is going to get what they came for and more. So I have to use what I have. I have to use what I'm doing. I have to use how my creation is coming out authentically, automatically, because of the divine spirit and the anointing that is upon this sister. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. I said it. So when you think about all of these things and all of the concepts, you're really going to get into a space of how can you offer yourself smarter? How can you position yourself smarter so that you can sell what you have smarter? You don't have to do a whole lot of stuff and spread yourself thin. Focus on what you are good at. So I want to ask you guys a question. Based on what you've been able to watch so far, based on what you've been able to gain as a result of keeping up and watching these videos, digging into the content, learning, taking notes, applying, what would you say my sweet spot is? What would you say my strong suit is? What would you say if you sold this, I would come? If you did an event on this, I would come. Let me know. I just want to know, because I'm just polling right now, because I already know what my juice is, but I want to hear from you. I want to hear from the one who is receiving, because your voice matters to me. So let me know. I want to hear from you. Remember, your financial prosperity awaits you, and so does your financial sanity. Get into this space of assessing each of your service and product offerings and assess whether or not if those things are profitable or if they are wasteful, because they are draining and you are expending more than what you are actually receiving in terms of time, energy, and financial resources. I told y'all we're going to get ourselves all the way together in this series. And again, piecemeal as you can, because we're going to keep going. These videos are going to be up so you can always come back to it. But this is a space of learning, and I want you to know that I am here to support you, and I'm doing the work right along with you. All right. So make sure that you come back for day 10 of the Business Profit series. We are rolling right along, and I'm just so glad that you guys are here. And I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow. Get your growth work done. If you have any questions, let me know. Let me know how you're progressing, and I'll be sure to get back with you. All right. See you guys tomorrow. Y'all know what to do. Get to work. Bye. The Debt Demolisher TV with Sophia Melone. The Debt Demolisher TV with Sophia Melone. The Debt Demolisher TV with Sophia